for you guys is this one here. McDonald's revenue soars as it hikes menu prices. $18 Big Macs. Goes as stated, McDonald's on Monday reported that its revenue was up by 14% in the latest quarter, a surge that the burger giant stated was driven by a strategic menu price increase. The Golden Arches brought in a total of 6.69 billion in revenue for the 3-month period ended September 30th, beating expectations of 6.58 billion. However, McDonald's, which has 13,513 restaurants in the United States and over 38,000 abroad, did not disclose how much the franchisor has increased its prices, which generally varies between locations. Pay very close attention to this. One branch in Darien, Connecticut charges as much as $18 for a Big Mac combo, which includes medium fries and a medium soft drink. So, even at this moment in time, when it deals with a lot of this, you have a combo for a Big Mac. You don't get a large fry, right? You're not getting a large drink. And all of that for $18. That's not worth it at all. And they stated that meanwhile, the same Big Mac combo will run hungry patrons $13.69 at a McDonald's in Times Square. Now, I want people to actually understand. Normally, what people will say that if you're on the East Coast, um, the closer that you get to New York, the more expensive it is, right? But yet, when you have the example that they gave for Connecticut, you were able to hear how they're basically charging $18 for a Big Mac combo, right? That's with a medium fry and a medium drink. Because remember, back in the day, you used to be able to supersize everything. There is no such thing as supersizing at this moment in time, right? So they stated that shares of McDonald's closed at 1.7% to $260.15. The net income rose to 2.3 billion, up from 1.98 billion in the same period last year. The same store sales in the United States increased by 8.1%, again attributed to the price hikes. During an earnings call with investors, CFO Ian Borden confirmed that the company's United States prices did increase in the third quarter, though he did not specify by how much. Borden also stated that McDonald's expects to increase the cost of its menu items by just over 10% for the full year, the second consecutive annual 10% price hike. Meanwhile, many consumers have stated that fast food has already gotten so expensive, it's no longer worth it. One Redditor even asked in a now viral thread, quote, what is no longer worth it because of how expensive it has become? And the top rated response was most fast food. So again, this is what we're in a sense dealing with, right? So you have McDonald's in general that will decide to raise prices for, its food. But then you have the franchisees, the owners of the McDonald's in certain areas. They'll specifically decide what they want the price of the food to be directly on the board. So you got two different things in a sense happening, at the moment in time. And it at the end of the day, it screws over the consumer. There's no reason that a Big Mac, matter of fact, there's no reason any combo at any fast food chain, I'm talking about a McDonald's, a Burger King, whatever, it should not be $18. It used to be a point in time, like if you actually go back and you watch older videos, like I sat down and watched I think a 1 hour video of McDonald's back in the 80s, and everything on that menu was almost a value, like how they have the value menu where everything is a dollar. That's pretty much how it was back in the 80s. A lot of things were pretty much a dollar. Things I'm trying to remember. I don't even think I even seen anything really actually touch $5, $5 or $6. Nothing. I'll put it to you like this: nothing on the McDonald's board in the 80s was touching $10. You could literally go to McDonald's in the 80s, sit down, and you wouldn't be spending, you would be spending barely a percentage of your paycheck. Barely a percentage. And it's the same exact food then that you're getting right now. But yet, for whatever reason, They want to increase all of these prices. Now, you do have some people that might want to attribute these price increases due to the fact of workers wanting to, get paid more, right? Of course, you could sit up there and say that, right? But again, let's go back up to what they stated when it came to McDonald's. They said that in total, the revenue, right? The Golden Arches brought in a total of $6.69 billion in revenue for the 3-month period, which ended September 30th. McDonald's ain't broke. McDonald's is not poor. McDonald's is not aching for money. So I'm going to knock that whole argument directly out of there. Like I said, 6.69 billion that they brought in. I'm not going to sit up and say because workers in America want more money. This is why in a sense the prices are going. Again, McDonald's is not hurting. McDonald's is not hurting at all anywhere. They bringing in billions upon billions and that's just in 3 months. They brought in billions. So again, McDonald's has the money to do a lot of things. McDonald's also has the money. If they wanted to, they could decide to sit up there and take a loss. This is why McDonald's can decide, like, oh well, we're going to bring back the 1 cent or the 5 cent or the 10 cent burgers, 15 cents. We're going to sit up there and do that. We're going to decide to have a real discount on a lot of the food just for about 2 days or a week. They can decide to do that because it's not going to matter in the long run. But like I said before, the food never changed. It's not like we're getting a better quality of burgers. It's not like we're getting a better quality of service, anything like that. They're just putting up the prices because they want to put up the prices. The other thing I also want to note when it deals with Connecticut, you do have certain areas in Connecticut which are more wealthier. And usually, when you happen to have conversations with wealthy individuals, they'll sit up there and state that money is no problem, money is no issue. Whatever something's cost, as long as I got it, I'm paying for it. Right? That's how rich people tend to think. They're not really going to complain or have an issue like we would with money, because for a better, I'm not even going to say the middle class, for the poor, which is everybody, um, we tend to penny pinch. We tend to look at everything like, okay, we got to figure out some cost effective measures so that we can sit up there and make it day to day, so that we can continue living from paycheck to paycheck, so that we don't technically miss or skip a beat. Because the moment in time that we do, we inevitably will run into financial problems and or issues. Right. So we have fast food restaurants doing huge price increases. Don't be too surprised within, the next 5 years, you hear another article stating that a Big Mac combo is now $20. They might as well make it $20. They might as well put it at $20 for the people that are in Darien, Connecticut. They might as well put that to $20 because they got it like that. But like I said before, nothing should be that high. Like if the food quality was different, all right, that's something else completely different. If the service was like Chick-fil-A, that's something different. But like I said, McDonald's does not have, in a sense, good quality food, nor does it have great spectacular service. Right? It does not. But it is what it is. So the next story that I have for you guys here is this one here. FDA warns that 26 eye drop products, including from large store brands, could lead to eye infections and vision loss. So just in case anybody out there uses contacts or anything like that, you may want to go look in, your cabinet or what have you to make sure that you don't have any of these directly in there. So they said 26 over-the-counter eye drop products, including those sold under store brands such as CVS, Target, and Rite Aid, could lead to some serious eye infections resulting in vision loss and or blindness. And this was stated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The agency found insanitary conditions in the manufacturing facility and positive bacterial tests resulting from environmental sampling of critical drug product areas in the facility, and is recommending the products be recalled. The eye drops sold under the brands of CVS Health, Rite Aid, Target, Up and Up, Leaders, Cardinal Health, Rugby, Cardinal Health, and Velocity Pharma are supposed to be sterile. There are no reports of injury from using the products at the time, according to the FDA, but agency says that anyone who has signs or symptoms of an eye infection after using these products should talk to their health care provider or seek medical care immediately. They also advise that anyone with these eye drops should discard them immediately. Target, Rite Aid, and CVS are removing the products from the store shelves and will stop selling them online. The products are sold under Leader, Velocity, and Rugby names, may still be in some stores or available online, and should not be purchased as stated by the FDA. They also stated that earlier this year, the FDA issued a warning not to use several other eye drop products due to microbial contamination. The United States Center for Disease and Control and Prevention report that use of the eye drops contaminated with a drug-resistant bacteria could result in some patients experiencing vision loss, surgical removal of their eyes, and or death. So again, this is very, very serious. This is not the first time that they've had a recall or that these brands have had to be, in a sense, pulled directly off of the shelves. They have been tainted before, just like they are very tainted now. So again, if you have anything that is a Target brand, a Rite Aid brand, a CVS brand, or a Rugby's brand, you need to go directly into your medicine cabinet or, wherever you might have these items, and, you want to discard them immediately. Or if you can just go back, to the store and get a refund. And of course, they will, discard those items. But again, don't use those items at all, because you could very easily face some serious health problems. And please take it from somebody, who wears glasses. You do not want vision problems. You do not want loss of eyesight or anything like that. So take this as serious as possible, right? So the next one that we're gonna go directly into, I'll actually move it directly to the Lotto one here. I'm sorry, I'll move it to Brett Favre, right? So we're back at it with Brett Favre yet again. Judge dismisses Brett Favre's defamation lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe. Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre defamation lawsuit against fellow ex-NFL player Shannon Sharpe was dismissed by a federal judge on Monday. Keith Starrett, the United States District Court judge for the Southern District of Mississippi, granted the motion to dismiss the case after determining that Sharpe's comments were protected under the First Amendment. The case can't be refiled because Starrett dismissed it with prejudice. And Shannon Sharpe stated this, quote, "The United States District Court for the Southern District of Mississippi, second day, dismissed Brett Favre's defamation lawsuit against me. The court found that the statements were protected by the First Amendment and second, the Constitution, thanks to my legal team and their handling of this case." And this is what the judge had to state. No reasonable person listening to the broadcast would think that Favre actually went into the homes of poor people and took their money, that he committed the crime of theft, larceny against any particular poor person in Mississippi. Sharpe's comments were made against the backdrop of a long-standing media coverage of Favre's role in the welfare scandal and the state's lawsuit against Favre. Listeners would have recognized Sharpe's statement as rhetorical hyperbole. Sharpe became the target of Favre's ire due to comments Sharpe made during a September 2022 episode of FS1 Undisputed. Quote, "So if the poor state Brett Favre is taken from, the undeserved, you made hundreds of millions of dollars in the NFL, and to talk about, well, Favre didn't know, this is what Brett Favre texted. If you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? He stole money from people that really needed that money." The former tight end was discussing the ongoing misappropriation of welfare funds in Mississippi. The Mississippi Department of Human Services is trying to recover more than $77 million, and more than 40 defendants, including Favre, are in the lawsuit. Favre has not only sued Sharpe, but also ESPN's Pat McAfee and Shad White, a Mississippi state auditor, for making, quote, false and defamatory statements about his involvement in the case. The former quarterback has continued to deny any wrongdoing and hasn't been criminally charged. So this is Brent Favre. At one point in time, everybody around America knew him. You had a lot of black dudes who played Madden. They loved Brent Favre. That was one of the guys right there when they had to, deal with a go-to team and they needed somebody that can give them a win. They would go with Favre. And now you got Brent Favre ruining his own name, ruining his own brand. You got Brent Favre, NFL, rich dude. Well, I thought he was rich, stealing money, laundering money. And then knowing the fact that he got money that he shouldn't have gotten, still has it returned pretty much jack squat. And then wants to state that, in a sense, that he is innocent, even though there are text messages out there stating of him talking about, well, if you send me money, is there any way for people to sit up there and trace this? That sounds like somebody who is very guilty and who is really trying to get away with taking money that is not rightfully theirs. That's what that looks like. And then you want to sue people who are criticizing your actions, which are, again, your actions. These aren't made up stories. These aren't made up facts. This isn't just something to smear the name of Brent, the Great Favre. This isn't what that is. Again, everybody has now been able to see exactly who Brent Favre is and who he has always been. People just didn't know and understand it when the story first came out. People were like, oh, making excuses. Oh, well, maybe he didn't know, and all this other type of stuff, and all this, that, and third. But now as time basically goes on and you keep hearing the exact same things, and now Brent Favre is into something else, now you start to see who the person is. But like I said before, it shouldn't take this long for people to really realize who an individual is. When they first show you who they are, you should already understand and believe it as it's a fact, because they're the ones specifically showing you directly what it is. But this is, of course, where we are. We got up in here. We got Fox in here. We got Gail. What is up? What is up? We got Mad Miz. What is up? What is up? Said, I work as a contractor and see what's going on behind the counters. All food places give you less for more money, and the food is worthless. And 75 to 80% not really supposed to be eaten, made of flavor foam. Yeah, that's facts. That is facts. That is 100% facts. We got the Outlaw directly in the building, also playing Marvel Snap directly at the same amount of time. What is up? What is up? The next story, now this is when everything is going to start to take a little bit of a turn. So I'm going to start off with, let me see, do we got the Ice Spice? So everything is going to, match into like one point, right? So this is something that I covered previously before. I made sure to do my best and edit. That's why you see like certain cuts, because I had to edit this because Ice Spice was hanging out. She was showing off a lot of cake, and it wasn't going to fit that well with YouTube, so we had to edit that out. The main thing that I've always stated is that a lot of women have always come directly to the platform and been really outspoken whenever it is that I've specifically stated that, women should dress a certain type of way and wear, certain types of things and yada, 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 right? And a lot of women have always stated that, men don't have ownership, we're not property, all this other type of stuff, yada, yada, yada. We can wear what we want. We don't, or as Nicki Minaj stated for women, women don't dress for men. They dress because they want to dress for themselves, right? So women don't dress for the attention of men. Women don't dress in order to obtain a man or to attract a man. They specifically just dress for them, which means that women are dressing for other women. That's what I'm getting from that. But we all know that to be a fallacy. And a lot of women, again, want to state that women are not objects. But every single time I go on social media, every single time that I just so happen to see a lot of these artists directly out there, they're dressing very provocatively. And in the clip here, when it deals with Ice Spice, her dress is in a sense so short and so small that during the performance, she had to try to pull it down or keep it down over 20 different times during the performance. And a lot of women know what fits and what doesn't fit. This is a woman that specifically knows, but yet this is what she opted to sit up there and do. And as somebody has stated before in a previous comment, dealing with the live stream, Somebody stated, well, you know, you got a lot of men that are in the industry and, you know, all the other type of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you are 100% correct. You do have men who are in the industry. You 100% do. But it's men of a certain caliber who are driving that industry, who are driving the areas where women are dressing certain types of ways, who are the ones showing specifically up at their concerts and buying their CDs and their albums and cheering them on. Certain types. It's not every single man out here. It's certain types. Right? All I'm sitting up there saying is, this is not going to bode well for the future because these women here are the idols of young women. They're the idols of somebody's daughter directly out there. And when somebody's daughter just so happens to see this, like, oh, you know, Ice Spice is dressed like that. Why can't I dress like that? Ice Spice is a grown woman. She wants to sit up there and parade and show her body off to grown people. That's what she wants to do. That's her prerogative. She gets paid to sit up there and do that for people to objectify and, you know, in a sense, oogle her, right? But it's very hard to break that specifically down to a young child. It's very hard to make them really understand how it is that the world will perceive them if they decide to, you know, take on the same actions as, you know, their favorite artist, right? So then that basically peels directly into the next image that I have directly right here, right? Where it states that Latto sends sultry pictures to her boyfriend before posting them for approval. Now, Latto, right? Now, again, going on the whole thing of how it is that women dress, right? Latto specifically had pictures that she was doing for Fenty. Fenty is the line that is specifically made by, you know, Rihanna. That's her brand, right? And she stated that before she put any of the photos specifically online, she showed the photos to her boyfriend to make sure that they were okay. So the stuff that she's posted, she got the okay directly from her boyfriend. And the reason why I want to bring this up, because it's crazy. It's going to follow into the video that I'm going to show you guys. It's crazy that somebody as young as Latto, to my knowledge, she's not even married to this guy. She's considering how it is and allowing him to have a say because they're in a relationship, right? She has the understanding like, yo, I respect this man. I respect his opinion. So let me go to him first before I decide to sit up there and post something that he may feel a certain type of way about. Now, this is the complete reverse when they dealt with Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer's like, hey, I'm going to sit up there and do, I got a child with this dude and whatnot, whatever. We're not married. We're not whatever. It is what it is. But I'm not running anything past him. I'm going to do whatever it is that I want to do. Like I said, it's a complete difference. And I want people to also know and understand something. Keke Palmer is not in the industry of selling sex. Right? Now, when you look at Latto, you look at her music videos, you look at her wardrobe and everything like that. That's where she is. It's the music and it's the sex. It's the objectification of women. It's the hypersexualization of women. That's what she sells. But yet this same woman who sells all of that is going to her guy and like, yo, let me, you know, make sure that this is okay. It is for a business. You know, I am getting money directly for it, but I want to make sure to run this by you just, you know, just to make sure that everything is completely fine and dandy. Like I said, that's something completely different. And the reason why I'm going to say that this is something completely different is because it runs directly into this video right here, where it deals with a NBA player who ended up finding out that his wife has an OnlyFans. So I'm going to let this run, and we're going to get directly into this.
You're going to sit here just finding out you got an OnlyFans page. Out of all these years, yo, the disrespect that comes with it, that you couldn't even talk to me before you did it, that's bullshit, yo. That's fucked up, Keith. I'm telling you, yo, that's fucked up.
Wait, no, calm. But you're not going to say fuck me, or that's fucked up. It's not up.
You recording me? What the fuck you doing?
Listen, it's not fucked up, and we're going to. Okay, look. So I
It's
have an
disrespectful, first
OnlyFans
of all.
page, and he's mad because he's just now finding out about it.
Of course I'm mad I'm just finding
But
out about it.
I'm not doing it with anybody but myself, so why should I have to tell you my choice, my body, my fucking choice?
I'm your partner. You're supposed to come to me and talk to
Joe,
me.
I've been talking to you about mad things. I've been asking for solutions to shit. You not giving me none, so I created one.
That's no solution. Not in my book. That's no
You knew
solution.
who the fuck I was when you met me.
Before,
Before,
we met, yeah, I
and
knew
I
that.
thought that I would never have to go
man,
back
get
to
out of
anything
here.
like
I knew
this
that
again.
beforehand,
But
but not,
unfortunately,
no.
that's not the case
'Cause after
right
that,
now.
after that, everything's supposed to change.
Everything did change.
No. Obviously it
Everything.
hasn't.
No, it had to. I had
Obviously
to do
it
something.
hasn't. You stood out there showing your body. You stood out there doing stuff like this on camera.
You act like that's the only thing that I do. I have mad jobs, but they're not facilitating everything that needs to be done. So I got something extra. OnlyFans be breaking me off. What the
Man,
fuck?
come on, Keish, with that. It don't matter what they breaking you off. It's the disrespect that comes with it.
What
You couldn't
disrespect?
you couldn't come and talk to me about it.
Okay, well, we're talking about it now.
Because I had
so,
to find out on the fly.
all right then, but now, okay.
No,
So wait.
I had to find out on the fly.
So now you know.
Yeah, now I know.
Okay. And so? Whatever. I've been doing what I have to do, period. Like, that's bottom line. That's what it is.
So I want to explain something to y'all real quick. This is a 50-something-year-old woman. This is a 50-something-year-old woman who decided. Now, let me just give a little bit of slight backstory. See, make sure if we got everything directly here. So, this woman here, they met and they got married. You know, he is retired from back in 2011, from which they stated from some online sources, right? And they knew each other and they met while he was playing basketball. She was like receptionist, did, you know, a whole bunch of, you know, other stuff for him. But as you heard her state, you knew who I was before I met you, right? So during the time of the courtship, boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever it was, she was also in community college for business law or what have you, right? So during the time of all of that, courtship, being a fiance, marriage, this woman decided at no point in time to further her education, to try to gain a career, to try to gain some type of a skill, to try to do anything that would, just in case y'all, you know, fall on hard times, like, yo, there's a backup here. I can sit up there and do something and things are going to, you know, still work out. Things are still going to be moving. She opted not to do any of that. What did she opt to do? She opted to run directly to OnlyFans. She opted to run directly to OnlyFans. And I keep telling people that OnlyFans is pretty much a young woman's game. Just like the same thing that I state with the drug game when it deals with the streets. That's pretty much a young man's type of game. Like, there is no excuse for an old man being in his 50s talking about, yeah, blood, I gotta sit up there and I gotta be in these streets, I gotta be selling and, I gotta make it do with it. No, you miscalculated. You miscalculated. Like, you miscalculated something horrible in order for you to be 52 out here in the streets doing what normally young dudes out here do. You miscalculated horribly. Like, you should have enough wisdom and knowledge in order to make things move a whole different way and legally, 100% legally. Like I said, if you got to be 52 out in the streets and selling, you might as well just go directly to jail. Go directly to jail. Just go directly to jail. And again, this is a woman who got married to an ex-NBA player, retired. And she still opted to want to still be for the streets. Now, I do want to sit up there and also put this directly in there. When I happened to look up some of the names that she ran by, I was able to find some different types of videos. So before, the other thing that she used to do, she used to be in the adult industry, doing a variety of things on video. So when she stated that you knew who I was before, he did. He 100% knew who it was. But this is what normally happens. When it deals with guys, we're willing to sit up there and accept a woman for who it is that they were, because we know that you're not going to be the exact same person when it deals with us, or supposedly you're not. You're not going to be the same person like, hey, if we have kids and, we get married and living, happily ever after and growing older with age, you're not going to be that same person. And more than likely, she sat up there and probably told him like, yo, I'm going to sit up there and change my ways. I'm not going to sit up there and do this. It's like, yo, you afforded me a life to be able to live, so I won't have to sit up there and do this stuff no more. I'm going to sit up there and, live that life. I'm going to abide by those rules. And obviously, she decided to go right back to the streets. And then on top of that, it's not even almost in a sense just that. But it's also the fact that you decide you got your husband's last name. You're not just running this as with your last name. You got his last name. That is his brand. That is his family. And you're going around here, sitting up here, having an OnlyFans, showing off your body. Again, you are somebody's wife. You're somebody's whole wife. You are a married woman. You didn't think to run this by your husband. This is where like the feminist mindset has a lot of American women screwed, because you heard her basically state, knowing the fact that she's married, but she said, my body, my choice. That's normally what feminists say, because they feel as though that a man is trying to have some type of hold or power directly over them, right? Timothy said, wait, I thought this was a skit. Some people online are sitting up there stating that, oh, everything online is a skit. You'll be pretty surprised. You'll be pretty surprised. Now, if people can basically prove that it's a skit, then okay, so be it. It still doesn't get away from the fact that you have tons of women directly out here who do and say the exact same things. They can have a boyfriend, a fiance, or a husband. They will still look their boyfriend, fiance, or husband in the eye and say that I'm going to do whatever it is that I want to do with my body, irregardless of us being in a relationship, irregardless of us being engaged, irregardless of us being married and me having your last name and carrying your child. I am still a woman at the end of the day. It is still my body, and I still have the say so. So irregardless if this is found to be a skit or not, it is still the fact that these are the things that women out here in America will sit up there and tell their boyfriend, their fiance, and their husband. Because for whatever reason, women feel that even though that they are in a unified relationship, they are still independent. And I'm just trying to figure out, how does that work? How does that work? How does that work? That's like having like the Power Rangers sit up there and formulate, the Megazord, but then one of the Power Rangers is like, you know what? We did form this union, but I'm still going to sit up there and work independently. I'm still going to be, doing the kicks, and I'm not going to be working in unison with you guys. I'm going to be doing my own thing while all of you guys are doing your thing. That's not how that works. You're going to lose. You're going to 100% lose. A house divided cannot stand. That is a house divided. You are clearly listening to the sounds of a very selfish woman, full of ego and full of pride. And this is the problem why a lot of guys don't want to get married. Because when it is that guys get married, again, we will accept the woman for everything that she is, because we know that she has the potential to be and do and see better. She directly threw that directly in his face. She threw all of that directly in his face. And now you got a whole bunch of dudes online sitting up there stating, was it worth it? You got a whole bunch of dudes online sitting up there saying, this is why you don't sit up there and get married. You got a whole bunch of dudes online sitting up there saying, this is why you leave women who are in the streets, who got a past, you leave them in the past. This is why you got a whole bunch of dudes online that sit up there and still bring up body counts when it deals with women. But women don't want to sit up there and bring that up. because they'll feel a certain type of way about it. You got women online sitting up there saying that the body count shouldn't sit up there and matter when everything matters in the long run. So, like I said, when people tend to forget or not want to learn history, it tends to repeat. So this woman who was a former adult film star ended up turning right back into the exact same thing she once did before, being that exact same film star. Why? Because, quote unquote, she needed the money. OnlyFans is deciding to sit up there and break her off, right? Because I guess her husband isn't, bringing in enough money to facilitate the lifestyle that she basically wants and needs. But realistically, she should have already had some things going during the point in time of a courtship, of being a fiance, of just getting into the marriage. And then the funniest thing is when you go and look at some of the clips where she was on TV, she was in a dress. She was in a wedding dress. This was when they were first getting married. And she said that the dress is nice, but it's way too revealing. Like the V on the dress was almost coming down to like her belly button. So you were able to see a whole bunch of like side boob and going directly down to the belly button. And she was like, people will be looking at, the dress and not me. Right? She wanted to go for something that was more modest. And note, this is a woman that was not doing anything of modesty at all. But even still with that, she obviously had a conscience, or she had respect for somebody, because she was like, yeah, I do, I have done some other stuff in the past, but, I do respect somebody, and I'm going to sit up there and dress a certain type of way. So she as a woman knew that this dress would be wrong to sit up there and wear even on her day, which is the wedding day. She still opted to sit up there and change that. But she had that type of acknowledgement then, but when it deals with her husband, she doesn't have all of that, just goes directly out the window. It's like, oh, I'm just going to do OnlyFans. I'm going to do whatever it is that I want to sit up there and do. Well, now you know I got OnlyFans. Like I said, that's crazy. Like I said, I'm trying to, and I reiterate a lot of these stories and bring these things up because I'm trying to point out and tell to a lot of women out there, it's women like this that mess it up for all of the other women out there. You have women out there that, yeah, they do deserve to sit up there and get married. They will more than likely make great wives, great fiancés. But due to the effect of how it is that social media works, due to the effect of how you got so many echo chambers directly out here, due to the effect that you got so many women yelling and screaming the exact same message of not needing a man, not needing to sit up there and get married. Even if they are married, they're going to be living their lives like Jada Pinkett Smith and all this other type of stuff. Even with kids, they still going to be living their best life, and they're not going to allow their kids or their husband or family life to sit up there and hold them back. With all of those messages getting put directly out there, that's putting men directly on the defensive. That's making men look at the whole situation as what's beneficial for me. What am I going to specifically get out the situation, right? Everybody knows what women will get directly out of the situation. Don't matter if the guy is alive or if the guy is dead. Women will always get something directly out of a marriage. What specifically is a guy going to get directly out of there? Going by everything that is stated on social media, going by all the performances that you just so happen to see on TikTok, YouTube, IG, blogs, all of these podcasts by women, what is the real benefit for a guy to sit up there and get married? Because I can't really sit up there and list you one. And I'm not trying to hear that if a guy is married to a woman, he's going to live longer. Irregardless or not, guys die. We have a short lifespan. It is directly what it is. We have to deal with stressful situations, stressful jobs. This is how we're built, and this is how it goes. So just having a little few extra years really don't sit up there and mean nothing if it ain't 30 extra years. So I'm not even trying to hear that whole thing. Because like I said, at the end of the day, if a dude dies, the woman is getting a life insurance. She's getting a house. She's getting a car. She's getting a dog. She's getting the SSI. She's getting whatever other benefits that the guy has. Even if the dude is alive and they get divorced, guess what? She's still getting all that stuff. But again, when you look at the guy, what is the guy? What is the real benefit for the guy? What does the guy really get, directly out of that? It's like, yeah, he was able to sit up there and like get married to a woman that he loves, or that he thought loved him back. But other than that, what really is that guy getting? I can't really find it. I can't really sit up there and tell you. I can't. But I can sit up there and tell you there's no reason at all that a 50-year-old woman should have to run the OnlyFans to sit up there and make money. You're 50 years old. You mean to sit up there and tell me that you don't? Let me just reiterate this. She said that she has a multitude of things going on, but they're not giving her the money that she needs. So my thing is, if you got a multitude of businesses going and it's not really working, what have you done to really fix that situation or to upgrade that situation? She basically tried to yet again to blame the man. She was like, "Well, you're I give you a whole bunch of problems, but you're not giving solutions." How do you know if he's not giving solutions if you're not actually listening? See, that's the one problem with a lot of women. A lot of women are very good at complaining. They can point out the faults in a man. They can point out all of these things. 9 times out of 10, when it comes to an argument, a woman is not going to give a solution. It's going to be complaints. It's going to be disapproval. It's going to be disagreement. Usually, you have men that will try to give a solution to a problem. Usually, whenever a woman presents a problem, a guy's job is to sit up there and try to fix it. Guys are normally Mr. Fix It. It's like, okay, you say that, we got some problems with the shingles. Well, let me go up there and see if I can do something. If I can't do something, well, let me sit up there and hire something. You say we got a leak directly in the house. Let me go, watch a couple of videos, or let me get some of the guys together and see if we can sit up there and fix this problem, knock out the drywall, basically, fix the pipe, cut it out, and then, put in another one. If that doesn't really work, then we're going to sit up there and call in the plumber, right? If a flat screen TV needs to basically get installed, we're going to sit up there and make it a weekend job, get the guys together, order some food, and we're going to sit up there and have some fun, just shooting the shit, and we're going to sit up there and install the shit. It might be a little bit crooked, but that bitch is going to be installed on the wall. That's usually what guys do, because that's how we're born. We see a problem, we're going to try to fix it. Even if there's not a problem, we're still going to try to find a solution to something, even though it don't exist. So I can't really go off of what it is that she is stating when she said that her husband, who facilitated and gave her a lifestyle, has not come up with any type of solutions for a problem. That sounds like complete 100% bullshit. You literally got men out here trying to find solutions to problems that they didn't even create. So you're not going to sit up there and tell me that at any point in time in that relationship, in that marriage, your husband is never giving you a solution. 9 times out of 10, women don't like listening. If we're just honest, if we're just being honest, a lot of women find it very difficult and hard to actually listen to a man and to then take in what it is that man stated and actually logically apply that. Subtract the emotion and just apply it with logic and push forward with it. A lot of women have difficulty in doing that, but a lot of women can't sit up there and admit that. So this is why when there's conversations about compromising, this is why when there's conversations about people being able to do this and other people being able to do this, women technically have a problem. Because a lot of women feel that if you're basically listening to your man, you are basically his slave. You are basically his property. That he is basically the owner of you. Like I said, I'm not sure who specifically put that directly into women's minds, but they got a lot of y'all screwed. They have a lot of y'all screwed. And that's just the facts. Tippy said, wow, said you're saying to guys don't get married at all. That's not what I said, because I did state that you have a lot of women directly out here who would more than likely make good wives, who deserve to sit up there and get married, who would more than likely make great fiancés. But because of women like this and many others that are directly out here on social media, she and many others are going to make it very, very difficult for a lot of women, and let me be more specific, a lot of American women to get married. You don't find this same type of thing happening in other countries. You don't have women deciding that, oh, I'm going to sit up there and go behind my husband's back, and I'm going to sit up there and, you know, in a sense, in a form, fashion, a way, prostitute myself. And I'm going to be sitting up there making this money. And no, that money ain't going towards the house. She said that she needed money. Not that the house needed money. She needed money. Like I said, this is the type of thing that happens in America because this is the thing that is favored. Because she's independent. She don't really need a man. She can go out here and do all bad by herself, even though she's married. Like I said, people don't understand. People do not, really understand how problematic this is. Officer Haku said she didn't even consider what embarrassment that will cause him. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that, like I said, he was fine with what it was that she did in the past because it was the past, and he was letting it be that. Like I said, I'm looking at that dude. I'm pretty sure they didn't have, pretty much conversations and arguments over like body counts and all these dudes you slept with. And he knew what it was. But he saw something else within her, and that's a lot of guys. We see something else within women. It's like, yo, I know this is what you do, but when we have conversations, when we sit down and talk and all this other type of shit, it's like two different people. And the side that I basically see of you when we sit down and talk, when we basically have these moments, when we go out for dinner, when we go out for walks, this is the you that I love. This is the you that I want to get to know, that I want to have for the rest of my life. Like I said, guys do know how to separate shit, and guys do know how to sit up there and just like leave shit in the past. But like I said, she don't know how to do that. This dude literally gave her a chance to have a clean slate. I wouldn't have even had known that she had a previous history being in the adult industry if she didn't sit up there and do this. Now, the other thing that I also want to note as well too, that was also covering, what Officer Haku said about, the embarrassment. The other thing that I want to highlight too is that you have a lot of women out here that will, in order to garner more type of attention, they will use the names of their husband. They will try to use, tactics as embarrassment or arguments or whatever it is and post it on social media so that more people basically know who they are, right? Because like I said before, if a lot of women are very great at doing what it is that they do, they wouldn't need to sit up there and try to leverage somebody else. They wouldn't need to try to embarrass somebody else in order to get the money specifically that they need. But this is what she decided to sit up there and do. This is what she decided to do. For the whole world to sit up there and see, for the whole world to basically be in their marriage, in their business, this is what she decided to do because only one person was recording. Only one person had the attitude. Only one person was arrogant. Only one person had ego and pride in that whole conversation. But the whole other person that you saw in that video, the husband, usually in certain situations like that, guys will try not to sit up there and like yell and holler. Not because they're being recorded, but because they know that it's not going to be beneficial at all. It's not even going to go anywhere. If when you start yelling and holler, it goes in one ear out the other. But yet, when a woman yells and holler, it's expected that you're supposed to listen and hear every single thing that she basically states, which again is completely crazy. And there's some type of a double standard there. I'm not sure if people happen to see it or notice it, but it's completely stupid. But it is what it is because it's society and the world that we just so happen, to live in. But again, like I said, this is the culture that we have at this moment in time. What was the thing that I was going to say Amber Heard, Amber Rose did? She had the slut walk, and women everywhere were sitting up there, ecstatic about that, going to it, and all this other type of stuff. You had women basically bigging up the side chick culture and the video vixens. So, like I said, all of this stems from certain things. And if you refuse to sit up there and look at the history, if you refuse to sit up there and look at the past, you are doomed to sit up there and repeat it. Okay, my apologies there. I actually had a slight issue with the my browser actually closed down on me. But yeah, like I said, this is a problem, and it's a problem that should not happen. That should not even occur. Let me know if y'all can hear me before I before I keep talking. Let me know if you guys can if you can happen to hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Okay, you said it went dark. Yeah, the browser had crashed directly on me, so it was yeah. Okay, y'all can hear me. Okay. So yeah, like I said, like this is it's a problem, and it stems from one area. Just like I showed um the clip of what's that girl's name? What was it? Ice Spice, I think it was. Just like I showed. Let me see. Where did it go? Where's she at? Yeah, just like I showed this clip right here. And like I told people before, everything stems from one thing. Everything culminates into one thing. Again, this type of stuff here, when you hear the audio, which of course I turned this into a GIF, so there is no audio. When you hear the audio, you hear women basically in a concert cheering directly for her. And then when she starts twerking in that short dress, which is not even a dress, you hear some deep voices out there basically cheering. And again, like I told people before, there are certain types of men that are very supportive of this type of culture. You don't have hundreds of thousands of straight men going to an Ice Spice concert, sitting up there cheering her on, knowing all the lyrics, dancing to the. No, there are certain types of men directly out there doing that. Certain types of men. Like I said, people got to understand. You got a lot of people that will sit up there and support women, and they know it is not in the woman's best interest. They know this, and they will still decide to sit up there and do it. Still decide to sit up there and do it. 1,000% ridiculous. 1,000%. So, like I said, I feel sorry for the guy. This is something that, he gotta, figure out and specifically deal with by, in a sense, his body language. They're probably still going to be together. They're probably still going to be together. When dealing with the situation right here. Like I said, that whole video, like I was just like, man, how in the world do you even make it that far in life at the age of 50 doing something that trifling? How? But now we're going to turn this into a whole another avenue, and I'm going to allow this video to speak. I'm going to set you up real quick. It's going to be a little bit of a slight history lesson, and to make people understand certain things that specifically happen to Black people that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge. There are certain histories and certain stories that we never just so happen to get to hear unless it comes directly from the person. And this this Black man here, who I'm going to pull up the video for real quick. Let me make sure I have it. He heard the story directly from the horse's mouth. So let's get directly.
Story that has me literally shaking right now. So for context, I drive trucks, and I stop at this Denny's to grab a coffee because I'm addicted to caffeine. I went in there to get my coffee to go, and then I walked to the bathroom. But as I'm walking to the bathroom, it's this old guy sitting to the left with about 12 people that's celebrating his 89th birthday. I got a call from my dispatcher, and he was like, yo, you can chill, no rush. They're not ready for the freight, so you can relax a little bit. Sat down, ordered some food, so now I'm sitting like across from the guy that's celebrating his birthday. Time goes by, I'm down there at the end of my meal, and everybody that basically came to celebrate with him had left, so now it's just him and his wife. So as I get up to go wash my hands, I see him and I give him a smile. I'm like, happy birthday, young man, 89. That's a lot of memory to have. Here's the thing, I don't even know why I said that. He could have had Alzheimer's. I'm not even sure what I meant by that. Like, but that's what I said. And he said, "Well, thank you, young man." And he smiled and he kind of just stared at me, and I just walked back there and washed my fucking hands. So I come back and his wife is gone. She's talking to some other lady that goes to the same church they do. And he sees me, he says, "Come here, come here, come here." And I said, "Yes." And he said, "There are way too many things that I wish I could forget." And I said, "Yeah, man, you make it to damn near 100 years old. I'm pretty sure you got a handful of regrets." And he looked at me with the most serious look ever and said, "You have no idea." Well, now I'm curious. Do tell. He said, "You know, I used to be a firefighter through the 60s and 70s. I said, "That's what's up. That's a very commendable job." And he said, "Yeah, it should be." He said the 60s and 70s was a different time in every way possible. You know that, right? And I'm just like, yeah, no shit. He said, "Back in those times, I was a way different man, and who knew that we'd get to the point where we are in society today, and I'd be feeling the way I'm feeling about the decisions that I made back in those times." So I'm like, man, if you won't fucking tell me, bro. So right before he took a very long pause, he looked at me and said, "Back in those times, it was very common for firefighters that looked like me to leave people that looked like you in burning houses and buildings and horrible situations just to say they couldn't get to us." He said more times than he'd like to admit, he would hear screaming black people and children in burning buildings and houses and apartments and stores and cars, and he would literally just pretend he didn't hear it. He said his last time doing it was when he made eye contact with the baby that he deliberately went into a building to save and deliberately didn't. And he said that was the last time he did it, and he quit that year. He said the nightmare still hasn't stopped. He still hasn't forgiven himself, and therapy helps, but it's still a living nightmare to have those memories. And I guess that shit just shocked me so much, because when it came to firefighters, I never thought of them like that. Like when it came to like police officers, lawyers, and judges, and everybody else, we knew they didn't give a fuck. Especially police officers, we knew they didn't give a fuck about us. But I don't know why that didn't click to me that, no, it was everybody that hated us. Everybody. Everybody had a hand in deliberately making our lives worse. When I calmed down from being mad enough to want to pull the plug on his ass, I thought about it. And I was like, of course they did this. Of course they did this shit. Duh. Like, why was I even shocked? Like, of course. But it is something that I cannot think about for too long, because that visual of you fake going to save somebody and not saving them because of the color of their skin, and the entire 911 understanding because, oh yeah, you couldn't get Jamal. Oh well, just another one gone. Like that shit. I don't know.
So we were able to hear that nice story time from this black man, right? And we heard how it is that you have firefighters. And this is something that has, in a sense, been talked about before, but I guess it really hasn't been highlighted, and nobody really wanted to pay attention and, in a sense, listen to it. That back during those times, and again, if you look through a lot of communities, even in black communities, the firefighters are still white. You still have an abundance of white EMS workers. Think about all of the malpractice and the issues that the black community faces when they go directly into hospitals or when it deals with nurseries. Think about how many black children have been harmed in some type of way, fashion, or form. Think about how many black women have either lost their lives or been injured on the medical table at a hospital. So you don't have just the firefighters that are complicit. You have the government that is complicit. You have the DA and the lawyers that are complicit. You got the police that are complicit. You got the doctors and the nurse. You got everybody. Everybody. And I would actually like it better if more white folks out here who lived during that time, who were in a lot of these industries, if they would just come clean and they would just actually tell exactly what it is. Because the narrative that people want to spin, and they want to try to say that, oh, America's not racist, it's not this, it's not that. It can possibly potentially seem like that because a lot of history is either forgotten or it's never actually really looked at or talked about. So you can easily make a narrative and sit up there and say America is not racist. Why? Because America allows immigrants from all over the world to basically come here and to further themselves and to find a better life. So with saying that, you can easily sit up there and say that America is not a racist country, because if America was, they wouldn't allow all these immigrants. Or as some black Republicans will say, if America was really racist, then black people wouldn't be here, even though black people are already here. But like I said before, just imagine being back in those days, knowing that your house is on fire, you're a black family, and one of your kids is still in there, suffering from smoke inhalation. They're afraid of the fire. Because a lot of kids, they don't know to, in a sense, run from fire. They hide from it. So they'll find a place that they're used to, that they might have played and all this. That'll be their comfort place to basically be, because they feel that they are safe, that the fire is not going to sit up there and get to them. Just imagine that's one of your kids. The whole family's outside, and you're, potentially injured. You might have some burns, and you're screaming and pleading for the firefighters to go in there and to get your last child. And then the one firefighter that goes directly in there, goes in there, sees your child, and then comes back out with nothing. Just imagine that. Just imagine that. But like I said, I understand exactly why it happened and why it was a thing. Because again, black people were never seen as human beings, weren't even seen as half. Black people were always seen as less than a dog. So I understand exactly why this was allowed and why it was able to happen, because it was the culture. And to an extent, it is still the culture to this day. But a lot of people don't want to sit up there and acknowledge it. A lot of people want to pussyfoot. They want to walk around the conversation. They don't want to directly stare at the conversation. People want to make it seem like this type of stuff didn't exist, and that it still doesn't exist at this moment in time. But here we are. Here we are. And this is just one person out of the hundreds of millions of people that are in America that are Caucasian. This is just one person that was like, you know what? I got to tell my truth. Before I sit up there and die, leave here, I got to sit up there and just come clean to somebody that'll listen. This needs to happen a lot more, so that people can actually start to understand. But the funny thing is, I know for a fact that even if you would have millions of white people right now come through with a lot of stories, either that they heard from their families or from their own experiences of how black people were treated or how they treated black people, people will still be so dismissive. And they will still say, well, oh, that's only a few. That million is not indicative of everybody that is in America. Everything stems from somewhere. Colorism, racism, everything stems from somewhere. There is a source. If there is a hatred directly out here, there is a source for that hatred. It can be traced back. There are cookie crumbs that specifically deal with that. But like I said before, when it deals in America, nobody wants to specifically look at the obvious. Everybody wants to pussyfoot around and act like shit doesn't basically exist. It doesn't happen. Oh, I got white friends. I got friends here. I got this, that, and the third. That's great. That is very awesome. You got white friends, Indian friends, all this other type of stuff, and all of y'all get happily ever after. Y'all got milk and cookies, and y'all be sharing cake, and all. That's great. Kumbaya, motherfucking yeah, that's great. But that doesn't erase the history that is here. That doesn't erase, just because you're having good moments with other people, that doesn't erase the past. Because due to the fact that people don't want to acknowledge the past, It's still happening in the present. So no matter how many black people I can sit up there and see that state that they got a white friend and all this other type of stuff, there's tons of videos out there of people committing racist acts, hate crimes, legislation. You got police sitting up there still battering and beating black people in the streets, in their homes, performing illegal raids and warrant searches and all this other type of stuff. Especially, and I covered this when it dealt with single black women in Chicago, where their homes would get bust directly into by the SWAT team, by the cops, because they stated that they needed to raid this because they had a warrant for somebody. And then they're sitting up there holding two little boys at gunpoint. Two little boys that ain't sitting up there doing nothing, that don't got nothing to do with nothing, holding them at gunpoint. But like I said, it's due to the effect of people not wanting to carry on and understand and study the past. We're living at a generation now where today's generation is like, hey, it is what it is that y'all had to sit up there and go through being old folks and all this other type of stuff. But what y'all went through is not what we sitting up there going through now. But oh, you don't understand, you will be. You don't see it right now, but it's just like a sleeper cell. You don't see it right now, but it's there. It's invisible. It's right there in front of your face. Like people always sit up there and tell you. And the truth is always that. If you want to hide the truth from somebody, you put it directly in plain sight. So nobody's going to believe in racism if you put it in plain sight. You can basically put it directly out there and hide it. And people will still sit up there and deny racism no matter what videos you put directly out there, no matter what a standing judge may just so happen to say from behind the bench, no matter what a lawyer, a DA official may just so happen to state, no matter what a police chief may just so happen to state, no matter what place and who that person is directly linked to, like some right fringe group, no matter what you put out there. And it's directly out there in the open, people will sit up there, deny, and act like it never happened. It's crazy. But yet again, this is the society that we live in. It's crazy. It's 100% crazy. But I'm going to end it directly on that note. Because like I said before, it gets to the point where you understand that you're going to start running in circles. Because you have a lot of black people that want to deny certain things. They want to make it seem like these things don't happen. They want to use, the small experiences that they have to sit up there and say that these things don't exist because they know one person or two persons. That's the same thing that you have white people doing every single day when they sit up there and say like, oh, I know a black guy. I have a black friend. And it's like Kevin Bacon's 7 Degrees of Separation, where everybody knows that same black guy. Go to Colorado. Go to Kansas, go to Iowa, go to Utah, go to Montana, go to all of these other wilderness type of states, and everybody's going to know that exact same black guy. Oh, Daryl, yeah, I know him. He right down the street from my family. Yeah, John and Steve and Tom know him too. But like I said, people don't want to pay attention. People don't want to sit up there and pay attention. So this is why I'm not too, surprised when I've done stories before and there was a young black girl that sat up there and was acting like racism was a myth. Where she was like, it's 2023. How could something like this happen? The years don't even matter. It's history repeating itself. And it's due by way of proxy because a lot of parents don't want to just so happen to teach their kids and give them this information. So this is why there's a lot of videos that I've covered where a lot of these kids of today are completely bewildered, confused, and caught off guard because they thought everybody was equal. They thought everybody was even. But now their feelings and their world is completely shattered. And now they don't know what to do or how to move. Now the way that they look at people is vastly different because of how it is that they got treated. But if they were, in a sense, taught and given certain types of information, a lot of these kids of today would not really be caught off guard. It would, in a sense, be expected. But I'm going to sit up there and just leave it there. Shout out, much love, respect, and appreciation to any and everybody that was a part of this live stream. Listen to me, yammer. Shout out to Ronan as well. I threw the Cash App directly in the chat. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Again, like I said, the best way for what was it that my grandma used to always say? Forewarned is forearmed. Basically meaning that if you have the specific knowledge and the information, you are armed just in case if anything arises. Right? So I can only hope that, more parents will just so happen to talk to and teach their kids so that they're not caught off guard and so that their feelings won't get hurt and that their world won't, just so happen to get shattered. And, I also hope that more of the stories like you were able to hear from, this black man are specifically heard when it deals with these things coming directly from the horse's mouth. I also hope that more men will decide to take a calculated risk, not just a random risk, but a calculated risk when it is that they decide to deal with certain women who have a certain type of a past. Right. And again, dealing with some of the stories that I gave you guys before, dealing with recalls and different things of that nature, be careful. Check your medicine cabinets or wherever it is that you keep your eye drops. And, make sure that you don't have any of those things because it can potentially cause blindness, vision loss, and or worse. So again, much love, respect, and appreciation to everybody that's been a part of this live stream. And I will catch you guys on the next one.